Well, we are celebrating our 50th year in business at Elhart Automotive Campus. Today is March 23, and actually March 25, this Wednesday, marks our 50th year in business from 1965. And we have Ken Elhart, our father, and Wayne Elhart here, along with myself, Jeff Elhart, to tell you a little bit about the history about Elhart Automotive Campus. I'd like to just ask Dad to tell us and you about the history of Elhart Pontiac GMC from March 25 of 1965. Dad?
Thanks, Jeff. This is special for me. It's just a dream and a challenge that I had from being first in the automobile business to someday be a dealer. And it happened, and 50 years later we're still thriving and prosperous and enjoying what we do. But not without some sacrifices on part of our family. Wayne and Jeff's mother and I, as a family, had a nice, comfortable home, and things were going well for us. I was a sales manager at Barbara Ford, and we had a nice, comfortable income, but it wasn't fulfilling my dream, and so their mother allowed me to sell our home and take the equity from that, along with some savings and all that we could borrow from the bank, to go in business and become Holland's new Pontiac GMC dealer. And so we've gone through the years, not without some ups and downs in the economy and some heartaches, but we survived with the help of wonderful, dedicated employees, present and past, and the thousands of customer friends that supported us through the years.
And Wayne, how about you? A little bit of the history about Elhart Automotive Campus. What reminders of this business are special to you?
I started early on. I'd walk down from junior high, which was E.E. Fell on River and 16th Street, maybe 6-8 blocks. The dealership was located where the Arts Council building is now, and I would sweep the floor, empty waste baskets, clean the showroom windows. So it was fun getting started in that. It took me a while to get promoted to the wash rack and then changing oil, although I didn't really care to change oil once I got there. But it was interesting, and I knew early, probably from the start, that I probably want to go into the car business. And it's been a great time.
And I remember working at the dealership since I was 12 years old, and of course I got to pick weeds and mow the lawn and do all those things that I did at home as well, but I wanted to do something else. So I went to Dad one day, and do you recall what I asked you?
He came marching up to the desk. He said, "Just how much longer do I have to mow lawns before I can start washing cars?" He wanted a promotion.
So did I get it?
He had to mow the lawn a few more times.
So perseverance finally paid off. So Wayne and I were both blessed to have had our father has allowed us to get involved in the business at a very young age, at 11 or 12 years old. So what about the most interesting car sale? I mean, everybody loves cars, and what would you say your most interesting car sale was? And maybe it might have been your first car sale, maybe not.
I started selling used cars when I was 20, and I don't remember the first used car sale, but I remember the first new car sale, and that was in the fall of 1949. It was a brand new Ford Crestliner, and it's a beautiful thing, and I was just thrilled to death to be able to sell it.
Brand new, shiny. What color was it?
It was bronze, dark and light bronze. It had a dark bronze streak coming down the side of it, and that was a big deal.
And brown is coming back finally. It's only taken 50 years, but it's finally come back. And how about you, Wayne?
Well, I've got two stories, but the most interesting one is back in the 70s. I sold a gentleman a Le Mans, and back then the cars weren't built quite as good as they should have been. And we got done with all the paperwork, because back then the salespeople did all the paperwork. And I showed him how the car worked, sent him on his way, and I'm waving to him. And about 2 minutes he comes back, and I went, oh no, something's broken already. And he said, hey, don't you want me to pay for this car? And I went, yeah, that probably would be a good idea. So I learned after that I always collected the money when I delivered the car.
So my most interesting car experience or sales experience was probably the Dodge Viper, 2003 Dodge Viper SRT10, which frankly, we were number 2 in the world in Dodge Viper sales during that year. Through a unique marketing effort, we just did a great job, and it was a lot of fun. We sold cars to people that live in Texas, to California, to Wisconsin, to New Hampshire, and to Florida, and it was a great adventure. So made some great friends along the way as well. So what would you say your greatest achievement was in the car business, Dad? And how did you master that?
Well, I think, first of all, when you come to work in the morning and get together with all the fellow employees, you really have to have a positive attitude and be optimistic and be ready to be on the firing line. And I always attempted to do that. And second greatest achievement, not achievement, but a blessing, is that my 2 sons, Jeff and Wayne, wanted to come into the business when I was ready to retire. And so it's been a great, great experience with a lot of love between us to be involved in this together as a family.
Wayne?
Greatest achievement probably is being able to guide the dealership through 80s, 90s, until 2000s. But it's all about people. The people is what made the place. One person can't do it. So it was a lot of fun working with all the great people we had.
Yeah, and I would ditto Wayne's and Dad's sentiments. I think Dad allowed Wayne and I, as I mentioned before, to get involved in the business at a very early age, but also turned the reins over to us when we were young. And it took a lot of confidence on his part to hand over the reins. And so I think the greatest achievement that I've received was to be able to work under a mentor and a father such as our dad, to have allowed us to get involved in the business at a very early age, which doesn't happen in family business very often. So of all the vehicles that this campus has sold over the past 50 years and offered for sale, what would you say the most interesting car was that you sold here on campus, or enjoyed driving for that matter?
Well, the car that I enjoyed driving the most was Grand Prix. When John DeLorean, the head of Pontiac Motor Division, came out with a coupe with a long hood and a small grille and a sporty car, and it was just fun to drive. Probably the most memorial sale was when I first became a dealer in March. I went to Pontiac Motor and said, now we have tulip time in Holland in May, and we need some convertibles and we need some station wagons for parade cars. And they sent me a beautiful, beautiful, big, long, red Bonneville convertible with a white top and pearl white interior, and it was just a gorgeous car. I remember taking it home one night and taking Wayne and Jeff and their mother for a ride in it, and it did pull a float in the parade, and then we sold it to a customer friend. But it was an exciting car.
And Wayne?
Probably Firebirds were fun to sell because I was young, and it got a lot of young folks in it, and you could get them in all kinds of different ways. They were fun to drive. Yukons were fun to drive. So I'd probably say, as I grew older, the Yukon was better because they rode a little bit better. So right now I'd say Yukon. When I was younger, Firebird.
Yeah, and you had a few Firebirds, older Firebirds.
Oh,
didn't
yeah.
you? What did you have again?
We had a 68 Firebird, and we had a 99 Firebird.
Yeah. The 99 was a special edition.
Yeah, it was a special. That was an anniversary car.
Yeah. White with blue wheels,
Would have
blue stripe.
been
35th anniversary.
30th. 79, 89, 99, 30 years.
Yeah, 30 year. And my favorite vehicle is pretty easy. The Pontiac Fiero, 1983 when it came out. We had a sold order bank of over 100 vehicles here at Elhart Pontiac at the time, and it was such a unique car. It was plastic body, mid-engine, and speakers in the headrest, which nobody had out at the time. And it was just a fun car to drive. And it was a fun car to sell, and everybody loved them. So they didn't last all that long, but I'd sure love to have that car back. You know, we've been talking about the last 50 years. So we're starting our second half of our century. And
Yes.
what advice do you have of the Elhart Automotive Campus employees, comments for customers, and so on, that would help us be successful as we have in the past 50 years?
I would say the most important thing to remember is to stay with the times. If I had a shortcoming, is I tend to be conservative, and there were times that I didn't stay with the times. And to adjust to changes as they come along, the sooner the better.
How about you, Wayne?
Well, first of all, you want to thank all the customers through the years that have purchased cars, repaired cars, collision, bought parts, and I'm with Dad. You got to kind of stay with the times. Sometimes you don't want to be the first one, but you don't want to be the last one. You got to jump in somewhere in the middle.
Yeah, and I think that's what good coaches do, don't they? I mean, we see that through basketball, through other sports, that the coaches do make a difference, and we're blessed to have this year our first time in our family's history that we have two general managers running our operation. Robert Gibson, who runs our Elhart GMC Hyundai store, and then Tate Fernstrom, who runs the Elhart Nissan store. And it's wonderful to pass on the additional responsibilities to qualified folks such as those guys, as Dad has to Wayne and I over the years. So I agree with what Dad and Wayne are saying. We're so blessed to be here and celebrate our 50th year in business. And on behalf of the Elhart family and our wives, who are an important part of this whole operation in business, we want to thank you to our employees and thank you to our customers for 50 wonderful years of doing business in the greater Holland community. Thank you very much.
That's right.